Hello, we are to session 2, Develop Understanding of Partitioning Shapes. Session 2, Develop. Today we're going to develop our understanding our partitioning shapes into equal parts. Partitioning is to make parts, and when we do that with shapes, we want those parts to be equal to each other. So when we share a cookie with someone else, we have equal parts. We're going to practice using 2, 3, and 4 equal shares and call them halves, thirds, half of, a third of. Let's get started. Use centimeter grid paper. Draw a large square that is 4 grid squares long on each side. Divide the large square into halves. Boys and girls, if you have copied the grid paper that's on this assignment, or you have a virtual tool to do this, that's great. If you don't worry about it. Get the piece of paper out, get your math journal out, and draw a square the best you can. You are then going to divide the square into halves. Here's my grid paper. And if I wanted to draw a square, I would just click and draw a square. That's all you really need to do. If you have a drawing tool, here's how you could draw your square. Try to draw straighter lines than me. And the question is asking us to divide or partition this shape into halves. I'm wondering if you drew your shape, can you partition this shape into halves? You may have done something like this. Did you draw your line straight down the middle here? If this is a grilled cheese sandwich, this is half and this is half. We get the same. Maybe you drew across this way, and then I get this half and you get this half. The same or equal shares or equal amounts. How about this way? Does that work? Sometimes I cut my grilled cheese like that. Here it is. And then we each get the same size piece. We can do that too. Four equal parts. Boys and girls, if you have this paper, this is fine. If you can print it off from our assignments, if you don't, it's okay. You can draw a rectangle. This one has 2 lines that are longer on the top and the bottom, and 2 lines that are shorter on the sides. The angles or the corners are perfect little squares in there. I want you to draw that and divide that into 4 equal parts. If this is a big pan of brownies, how would you share that with 4 people? Each part is a blank of the whole rectangle. Did any of you share like this? Four equal parts. Each part is a half, a third, fourth. What part is this? 4. There are other ways to cut the rectangle. We could cut the rectangle into 4s going down. Only a lot straighter than what I'm doing, please. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, hopefully equal parts. Each part is a fourth of the whole rectangle. Boys and girls, I know that you're already getting used to this. Can you draw another rectangle? Now I want 2 equal parts. 2 equal parts. Each part is a blank of the whole rectangle. Would that be a half, third, or fourth? If I divide this rectangle right here, do I get half? Do I get third? Do I get fourth? You're right. I would get a half and you would get a half. Please pause anytime you need to take a break. 3 equal parts. Dividing into 3 parts is always a little hard for me. We can't just go right here. That might not make everything equal. Each part is a blank of the whole rectangle. Let's see, 3 equal parts. Well, I can think that I might be able to go like this down. And how about right there? Is that going to give us almost equal parts? Equal parts, 1, 2, 3. And I really did try to make them equal. Each part is a blank of the whole rectangle. Half. Is this half? Looks smaller than half. Is it a third? 1, 2, 3 pieces. Is it a fourth? You said a third. You got it. All right, let's move on. Boys and girls, I want you to think about what we just did. How could you check that each third takes up the same amount of the rectangle? If you want to look at your piece that has thirds, if you used a grid paper, could you count the squares in the grid? Are the squares the same? The same in each part? If you did it in your journal, could you cut the pieces of the rectangle out and lay them on top of each other? Are they the same? The next thing I want you to think about is I want you to think 2 is less than 3. I think we know that. But when we divide shapes in halves, halves are larger than thirds. Why is that? So if I go back up here to this shape, if I divide this shape in half, I get a big piece here and a big piece here. If I divide it into more than 2 pieces, how about into 3 pieces, here and here, and I have 3 pieces, this piece is smaller when I divide it in threes. Why is that? I want you to think about that. Let's move on in the same manner for each of these. Again, if you have a virtual tool you've been provided with, if you've been able to print out papers, if not, you can go ahead and draw your best circle on your piece of paper. A lot of times I use a lid or something like that to make sure my circle is a circle. You can pause this anytime you want to take a break or if you need to go get some other tools. You're using paper pencil, that's just fine. 2 equal parts. When we divide a circle into 2 equal parts, The one thing we want to make sure of is to hit that middle. And I can see that middle is right around in here. So I'm going to go from here, clear across to the other side and try to hit that middle. So right there's that middle. And I have half of a piece of pie over here and half of a piece of pie over here. 2 equal parts. You think I could fold that in half and this side would match this side? It should. Now you could have put your line anywhere on the circle, but remember, go through the middle. Next, 3 equal parts. I think I know this one. Let's see what you think. How about this? I have 1, 2, 3 equal parts. Does this part look about the same amount as this part? I just don't think that those are 3 equal parts. I'm not sure that that's going to work. What did I miss? You know what I think I missed? I didn't go through the middle of this circle, did I? I have to go through the middle point of this circle. Maybe that will work. So my task is 3 equal parts. Sometimes it's kind of hard, but I'm going to go right to the center right here. And then I'm going to draw this piece out here. And I'm going to draw this piece out here. Oh, does this piece of pie look like this piece and this piece? Just about. I tried really hard to make equal parts. Why don't you do this next one? This is 4 equal parts. Draw your circle, use your tool, and make 4 equal parts on the circle. Here's my way. Of course, I'm going to go right to the middle. And then how about across like this so I can have 4. Oops, I don't like how that looks. Let me be really specific on this one. Because we want 4 equal parts, right? We're trying to make equal parts. Mine aren't always perfect, but I'm going to try that one again. Let me see if I can, oops, nope. Let me see if I can do that again. Oh, I don't like this eraser on this one. And let me see if I can do that again. Here we go. There. And there. Oh, look at that. I think I have 4 pretty equal parts there. Sometimes I have to try a lot to get those. All right. And moving on. We had parts of rectangles and circles today. How could we describe the parts of each circle? Did we make one was 1/2, thirds, fourths? Could we say 1/2, 1/3, 1/4 for one of the pieces of each? How are the rectangle and circle models the same? How are they different? Boys and girls, if your teacher has an option for you to answer that question in a Google form or in an assignment question, please answer that question. How are the rectangles and circle models the same? How are they different? The rectangle is divided into halves. Show a way to divide it again so that each part is 1/4 of the rectangle. I'm wondering how many ways we can think to do that. Boys and girls, I want you to try that as well.